Student loan forgiveness just hit a massive legal wall. If you've been counting on debt cancellation or even just trying to survive the repayment chaos, you could be in for a nasty surprise. This affects PSLF, SAVE, IDR, and maybe you. And what's worse is the rules are changing again in the middle of your repayment journey. So let's break down what's happening and why many public service borrowers are starting to ask, should I just refinance and move on? If you haven't been paying attention to all the student loan drama, here's a quick summary to get you up to speed. On February 18th, 2025, a federal court blocked the Department of Education from implementing large parts of its SAVE plan and other income-driven repayment rules. This legal ruling paused SAVE forgiveness, interest subsidies, payment count adjustments for deferment and forbearance periods, and consolidation loan payment averaging. The rule affects nearly every major income-driven repayment plan. That includes IBR, income-based repayment, pay-as-you-earn, pay, ICR, income contingent repayment, and of course, SAVE. For millions of borrowers, especially public service workers, that means expected forgiveness timelines just evaporated. But that's not the only curveball coming at borrowers this year. There's also growing political movement to strip away forgiveness entirely from certain public service workers, and that could change everything. Tens of thousands of nonprofit workers, including many in healthcare, could lose access to public service loan forgiveness. The Trump administration has proposed narrowing public service loan forgiveness eligibility to exclude employees at nonprofits involved in immigration work, gender-affirming care for minors, certain DEI and civil rights efforts. People have dedicated their lives to healthcare, education, and social justice, and they could now be punished not for what they do, but for who they help. If these changes go through, even legal work at schools, hospitals, or local government and sanctuary cities could be disqualified, and payments made while working for one of these groups, they might not count towards forgiveness at all. And within the past weeks, we've gotten notice that IBR forgiveness is on pause. This is likely due to the massive cuts that they've made to the Department of Education, although studentaid.gov attributes this pause to what is going on in the courts with the SAVE plan. Now, if you are expecting that you will get your loans forgiven in the next few months under IBR, here's what you should do. You should continue to pay your student loans under IBR. Once they get their act together, they will give you a refund for those additional payments. This is exactly why many individuals are considering refinancing, not because they want to, but because the rules of forgiveness keep changing. So with all this chaos, a new question is rising. One we didn't expect in 2025. So let's break this down. When you think about refinancing, it is often confused with consolidation. Consolidation means taking multiple federal loans or multiple loans and combining them into one. So with consolidation, you can still have access to federal protections. Refinancing means replacing your federal loan with a brand new loan from a private lender, often with a lower interest rate. And when I was in medical school, I had over 10 different loans, some subsidized, some unsubsidized. I consolidated them all and eventually refinanced to lock in a better interest rate and shorten my payoff timeline. But refinancing isn't always the right move, especially now. What worked for me in 2016 may not work for you in 2025. So here's why refinancing worked for me. I was tired of my payments going mostly towards interest, and I wanted a lower rate and a faster payoff timeline. I didn't want to rely on the government to forgive my debt, and I liked having control over who my lender was. Sometimes refinancing can also help to lower your monthly payment, free up cash to invest or build an emergency fund, and simplify your life with the one easy payment. But let's be real, refinancing has trade-offs. When I refinanced, my monthly payments doubled because I chose a 5-year term instead of a 10-year term. Even more importantly, I lost federal protections like an income-driven repayment option. I also lost PSLF eligibility, forbearance, and deferment options. My husband also refinanced his loans, and even during the pandemic pause, he still had to make monthly payments and accrue interest because private lenders don't follow federal rules. Also, if you're unsure about your financial stability, refinancing could leave you stuck. But once you refinance federal loans, you lose access to all forgiveness programs forever. So that's the trade-off, stability versus possibility. And still, for some borrowers, especially those with high incomes, no PSLF eligibility, private or Grad Plus loans, refinancing could save you thousands. So ask yourself, is your credit score strong? A 700 plus is ideal. 2, do you have steady income and no recent job loss? 3, is your debt to income ratio less than 1.25? And that is your monthly debt payment divided by your monthly pre-tax income. Do you have private loans with high interest rates above 6%? And lastly, do you have a safety net? Like emergency funds, 3 to 6 months is the key. Also, you may not want to refinance federal loans while the interest is paused or forgiveness is on the table. If this video is helping you make sense of the madness, give it a like and tell the algorithm this content matters and helps borrowers get the facts. So let's talk about who you should refinance with. When you're looking for lenders, you want to look for lenders with great customer service and clear terms. Compare fixed versus variable rates. A fixed rate gives you peace of mind that things will not change. And you want to also consider your term length, 5, 7, or 10 years, and you want to match it to your goals. Personally, I refinanced my student loans with SoFi, and my husband refinanced with First Republic Bank. Both of those options gave us great experiences. And the last tip is to negotiate your rates. So here's what it typically looks like. You'll use Credible or NerdWallet to compare estimated rates. You'll select your top 2 to 3 lenders and request quotes. You negotiate the rates and terms. You submit your income, loan documents, ID. You'll do a complete credit check. And as a bonus tip, you want to do this with all of the potential lenders within a 30-day period to avoid multiple dings on your credit. You'll sign your agreement and switch payments to that new lender. But if you're a little unsure if this is right for you, then what I suggest you do is to try saving the estimated payments for 3 months before refinancing. And if it feels tight, you may not be ready yet. So here's how to make an informed decision. You want to know your loan types. Do you have federal or private? You want to check your PSLF status and also the payment count. But just a word of caution that this data was not being reported recently. And with the massive layoffs with the Department of Education, it may not be reported yet. Also want to understand, are you in a qualifying plan right now? Should you switch the plan? What the payments will be? Understand any legal delays, especially if you're in the SAVE plan. And if you are in the SAVE plan, come August 1st, your student loans that are under the SAVE plan will begin to accrue interest again. So you probably want to switch out, especially if you can afford the income-based repayment option. If you're in SAVE, payments may not count towards PSLF. Then you want to ask yourself, would I rather bet on forgiveness or lock in a payoff plan I can control? If you're not eligible for PSLF and forgiveness is looking less likely, refinancing might help you gain control and finally get ahead. So this student loan system is unpredictable. It's political and it's broken. But your personal plan, that's one thing that you can control. So whether you wait, refinance, or do both, make sure that your strategy works even if the laws change tomorrow. But if you have a question about what's going on with the forgiveness pause, drop it in the comments below. And if you have any questions about refinancing, I'll be here answering all week. So let's share our strategies and our thoughts together. Please remember to subscribe for more financial clarity, freedom, and wealth building tips, especially for high achieving professionals who want to own their money journey. Don't wait for the rules to change. Build a plan that works no matter what. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.